not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
It's time to energize a revolution in medicine. Welcome to Third Opinion. We intend to hunt down the cures, provide the evidence, and ask the critical questions that you want answered. The revolution is now. I'm Dr. Richard DeAndreas, a medical doctor trained in surgery and conventional medicine, and a natural doctor with extensive experience in the progressive treatments focused on finding the cures. You want answers, and we aim to deliver. Are you getting more tired? Are friends telling you that you seem depressed? Are you having more bouts with the flu and other common illnesses like the cold? Does it seem like one mild cold sets you back for weeks? There is a condition sweeping the nation that is so misunderstood, it is being attributed to mental illness to keep you from discovering the truth. Stay tuned. You're about to find out that you're part of a top-secret experiment. Here are the top stories. Obama's climate advisor open to geoengineering to tackle global warming. This reported in The Guardian off the Associated Press. The global warming situation has become so dire that President Obama's chief scientific advisor has raised, with the president, the possibility of massive-scale technological fixes to alter the climate using geoengineering. John Holdren, member of the president's cabinet, said today that drastic measures should not be off the table in discussions on how best to tackle climate change. Climate change, which you will notice is no longer global warming. Now we've changed it to climate change because we're finding that there are places on the planet where it is not increasing in temperature. The article further goes on to say the mega technological fixes include everything from placing mirrors in space that reflect sunlight from the Earth to fertilizing the oceans with iron to soak up atmospheric carbon dioxide. Another object is to seed clouds, which can then bounce the sun's rays back into space to cool the Earth's surface. Such global-scale technological solutions to climate change may seem fantastical, but increasing numbers of scientists argue that technology should be investigated. It does not require investigations to know that the answer to our problem on this planet is not to create more problems for ourselves as human beings. And there's not one single physician out there who would not agree that free iron levels in the body actually increase the rate of cancer. So if we start pouring this into the oceans, are we now subjecting ourselves to more diseases? The article further goes on to say advocates of solar shield technology, these is the idea of putting these mirrors in space, have welcomed comments. Stephen Salter, an engineer at Edinburgh University, wants us to seed clouds in addition to that. What does this mean to seed clouds? Is this something that's already been pioneered? Seeding clouds with a heavy metal, perhaps, one that may reflect sunlight back into space. Let's say that these clouds are being seeded right now and that we're actually seeing something in the sky called chemtrails. I don't know if you've noticed them yourselves, but chemtrails are not contrails. This is not the exhaust coming out of the back of an aircraft that stays in the sky and then dissipates after a short period of time. What you're beginning to see now is that there are these markers that are coming out of the backs of aircrafts, which we're calling chemtrails, which actually stay still in the sky for long periods of time. And in fact, in some cases, clouds have been formed that seem to hang around for weeks in some cases. This was not science fiction when it was brought up in the United States government on the congressional floor by Dennis Kucinich in the 107th Congress, where he started asking questions about the use of chemtrails. You've seen them, especially over Los Angeles. These trails seem to remain in the sky for weeks. Sometimes the sky gets really, really hazy and it's hard to see the horizon after a while. Whether these things are coming up and we're starting to see them as exotic weapons, or they're supposed to be there for some kind of geoengineering for climate change, the better question to ask is if they are seeding clouds, what is in this? There have been several people who've gone up in order to test these seed locations. What they found is that often in these clouds they find high levels of aluminum and barium, or something called ethylene dibromide. These trails have been reported in many cities in the U.S. We've seen them over Canada, London, Europe, Australia. Even in Germany, it was reported on the news by certain people who were doing news reports of the weather. In fact, a Social Democratic member of Parliament, Monica Greifen, stated, aluminum and barium compounds are being spread just as tens of thousands of concerned citizens have observed, documented, and bitterly deplored. On June 11, 2008, German Greenpeace spokeswoman Christine Lager told Concern's constituents, "The idea of reducing global warming by putting chemicals in the atmosphere has been around a long time. There are various proposals in this direction suggesting the chemicals should be independently sprayed and that they should be mixed with the fuel of ordinary passenger aircraft. If you want more information on this, you can always get this off of our website." So it seems like these chemicals are going to reflect the sun's rays back into space. Even Holdren acknowledged that some of the potential geoengineering solutions could have side effects and that such action should not be taken lightly. In fact, the side effects from heavy metals that are being crop dusted over cities throughout the world are increases in the rates of cancer, fatigue, depression, lowered immunity, neurologic deficits like memory loss and dementia, which are things that we seem to see coming up more and more. Lest we forget the impending genetic damage from future generation after generation after generation. Though cloud seeding would cool the Earth, it would lead to more acidic oceans, since the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere, and therefore the CO2 absorbed in the seas, would be increasing. This would increase the acid produced in the ocean. But Holdren added, "We might get desperate enough to want to use it." This is a setup, my friends. Get ready. It's already being used.